Yo, what is up, guys? So we're here to talk about the new Lair of Darkness. How broken is this card is the real question, because I live streamed it and I was messing around, trying out a lot of different, more interesting builds, or I would say questionable, messing around with things like Amorphages as well, just testing out the card in general. Now, I'm here to showcase off a more, I guess I would say, competitive-ish variants of the deck, also showcasing off a few interesting versions of the deck. Now, the real question, guys, is how broken is this card? Well, it comes down to the deck itself. I feel like having a little bit of consistency issues, because sometimes you activate some of the virus cards, you've won the game. Like, your opponent cannot Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, we're shutting down all the hand traps, and in fact, this deck just dominates sometimes, and like your opponent can't even get to play. Like in this case, oh, you searched out this card, let me go ahead and get rid of all your spells, and then for the next 3 turns, no more spells. Like, you activate this against a lot of different decks, you just win. Some of the pendulum decks, auto win. You go against Brandish, that's auto win. Like, there's so many auto wins in this deck, it's crazy, especially since, well, you can search out, you know, whatever card that you want. Well, you tactically select 3, and your opponent sets 1, you randomly sets 1, but let's be honest here, you just select 3 copies of the same card. Unless, of course, you drew it, in which case, well, then you just set the card anyways. I understand there is an RNG mechanic with some of the things like Eradicator, Deck Debbie, which are automatic wins against, heck, a lot of decks. Deck Devastation Virus against Mermails, yo, I know what that feel is. Yo, Burning Abyss, you're about to see that shortly in these plays. But like I said, shouts to all you guys for sending in some of these replays, and I'm going to showcase off like a variety here. This one's just kind of showcasing off, I guess, like Monster Gate. Monster Gate is an insane card in this deck, tributing your opponent's card and then just randomly getting a monster. And on top of that, it's difficult to call the levels. The 3s are good, the 4s are good, the 8 is good. Like, it opens up like so many nasty plays. And the thing that's so dirty with Monster Gate, even if you don't get a monster, like they call the right monster, either A, you get Darkest Diablos in the graveyard, which heck, that's good, or they get a monster and then you're going to tribute something anyways. Like, it's so hard to deal with it. Now, like I said, I want to showcase off like a few different like variants here, and we'll jump in back and forth. And the real question is, again, how broken is it? I think it's like unquestionably like broken good, like the Lair of Darkness, just that card though. But other than that, the archetype itself doesn't seem to be that strong. It's only strong because you contribute your opponent's things, and like it's so hard to get it around. First off, it's a spell. Now, the whole like token effect, whatever. But what makes this card even more broken, and I'm sure a lot of you guys that have played against this, you know what I'm talking about, when either A, you lose to virus cards, or B, you forget that, like, yo, all my monsters are now dark. So that hurts a lot of different decks that require, like, fires or water. It's, like, random. But a lot of these decks, like, I was playing Mermails, and, like, I was like, what the heck, I can't go for this effect of Megalo to Tribute, and it was because, well, they were all converted to darks, and that actually hurts a lot of different decks. And again, it's more of like a random thing, but it can definitely hurt a ton. But so that's like where the strengths are in the deck. It's just, again, tributing your opponent's stuff. Obviously, getting the tokens can be nice, and especially since you can summon the tokens to whatever zones you want. You can block zones, which, I mean, that part is definitely, like, it's just, like, more and more pluses. And then on top of that, the token that you get is 1,000, so it's, like, it's okay stats. Obviously, you can go into links with it. It just becomes very dirty. Now, in this case over here, it's not looking too good for our boy, Leon Flo. But he's got to go ahead and get those tokens out. In this case, it doesn't really like matter because, well, he's probably not going to go for leaks. But he's immune to spells and monster effects, but he's going to go ahead and destroy that. He's going to go ahead and activate our Rima and draw that card, drawing the Twin Twisters, getting rid of both those cards, then being able to summon the Darkest Diablos. And that 50 attack that this card has over, it just helps out. Well, there's so many times where this card, like, I'm finally able to attack over because, you know, 3,000. But at this point, he's basically top decking, and that's not so good for either of these players because, well, they don't really have options. But another really cool card that when I was playing, I forgot about this card. I remember it was earlier in the stream, but we ended up adding this card. Return of the Dragon Lords actually works with this deck, and it becomes so much stronger because, like I said, the only real good card in the entire deck, in my personal opinion, is the Lair of Darkness. Being able to tribute your opponent's card is, like, high-level broken. Like, it's so difficult to, like, negate spell cards in the game for most decks, unless, of course, you play in that anti-meta lockdown deck, which we made a video on, like, less than a week ago. I'll link to that down below. But basically, if you shut down Lair of Darkness, the deck does not function. Like, the deck has so much problems if you get rid of that card. It's crazy. I was even thinking of putting in the Scrap Iron statue. I don't know if you guys remember that card. It's probably a card that a lot of you guys are like, what the heck is this? You get rid of the field spell, this deck dies instantly. Any of you guys play Dragoonies? I mean, the Stardust Dragon spam deck? Actually, Dragoonies might be a little bit different now. But, okay, you guys remember that deck, right? Well, basically, if you lose the field spell of this deck, the deck definitely does fall apart quite fast, especially early games, or if they don't open up with it, or you, like, Ash Blossom, you know, the card that searches out the other card, what is it? Arhima, this guy over here. But, anyways, the thing I wanted to just talk about, which is Return of the Dragon Lords. It's actually an insane card in the deck. Now, we gotta go ahead and make that young Code Talker, upgrading itself into Decode Talker. But Return of the Dragon Lords is actually really, really insane in this deck. So, you target a level 7 or 8 dragon monster in graveyard and spell summon it. But if a dragon monster you control be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Now, what makes this card so dang annoying to get rid of is, well, it's got 3,000 attack, but more than likely someone would try to target it to get rid of it. But with the Return of Dragon Lords, you just banish it. And, like, some decks don't have multiple outs to the card, and that's really where I feel like this card works so well in the deck. It's not, like, part of the archetype, the LAIR archetype. There's a structure deck. But the thing is that, like, dude, he just savaged him with his own card, man. So dirty. But anyways, the deck is pretty good. Hold on, this was an interesting tech that this guy played over here. Again, I'm trying to showcase off, like, a lot of variety here, but we'll go over some of the other duels of, like, I guess, different, like, mechanics of the deck. This was an interesting choice, running Ectoplasmer. So this is a really old card, but anyways, each turn, once per turn during each player's end phase, the turn player must tribute a face-up monster, and if they do, inflict damage to their opponent equal to half of the original attack of the tributed monster. So what this means when you have, like, Darkest Diablos, and keep in mind, guys, you're able to tribute your opponent's stuff with this. So during the end phase, you can tribute your opponent's monster, then burn them for extra damage. That's dirty. But what's even cooler with that is that when you're tributing your monster with Ectoplasm, you can get out Darkest Diablos, and if you have a Darkest Diablos, you can get out another Darkest Diablos. Granted, that is not during the same turn, because you can only activate each, you can only use each of the following effects of it once per turn. But that's dirty, being able to be like, yo, I'm going to tribute my monster, you take damage, and then I'm going to get out another Darkest Diablos because I tributed. Now, again, you can't infinitely loop it, keep that in mind, but this is a dirty card, it really is. But I don't know if it's going to be, like, meta. It is kind of getting some hype. I saw some forums talking about it, gosh, I wanted that Burning Abyss one. I think it's this one. Shouts to you, Turkeyfish. I remember we were talking about, like, the whole, like, matchup against Mermills, and, like, there were times where Virus just, like, wrecked Mermail so fast that, like, you didn't get a chance to play. This is just kind of one of those duels where it's like, yo, you playing Burning Abyss, whoa, full force Virus, rip all your cards you have to Strudo, and then, like, it's like, go ahead. It's like, you can't win some of these duels against this deck, and that's where I feel like it's pretty broken, because it doesn't require you to have a monster, but your opponent, like, they know what's coming. But the thing is that I felt like a lot of people actually dropped a lot of their back row. Let me know if you guys have seen and noticed that in the game too. It's just like, let's just max out Ash Blossoms. It's the reason why the card's expensive. It's good. But, like, I've seen very few decks actually run back row. Even in the Oceans, they got Harpy's Feather Duster. They're not even main decking it. Some people don't even side deck the card. I mean, that's crazy, right? But, no, I mean, you guys that have, like, you know, seen the top list in the Oceans, you guys know, like, they don't even run Harpy's Feather Duster. I think it's this one. Oh, this is the light one. Okay, but like I said, like there's a lot of duels where your opponent will not be able to even play. In fact, like Scoldy is such a good card. Unfortunately, in this deck, it's kind of difficult to make. I haven't seen very many people throw out Scoldy, but I think that this deck it's strong because of two things. One, Lair of Darkness. Yeah, I think the card is broken. And then, again, going back to the video title, how broken is this card? It is insane, but it's easy to deal with because. Unless they're running the trap card that lets you just take a field spell and just like activate it. I forgot what the trap card is. There's a quick. Yeah, there's also technically set rotation, but anyways, all you need to do is like a simple MST, and then the deck falls apart. But the thing is that most people don't have MST. They don't run Twin Twisters. It's just an outdated card. Like, people just run hand traps. Hand traps can't be stopped, and on top of that, like, it's just a thing that I've noticed. I mean, let me know if you guys have noticed. I also noticed people run Galaxy Cyclone here and there. But the thing is that, like, this card is so incredibly strong. If you don't have that, like, card to get rid of it, you will lose. There's that Blacklist Soldier one of my favorite cards, but it cannot target this card, so it can't banish it, which you guys know it's going to be a problem because, well, I can distribute your monster. But had he not had that, again, the ability to get rid of, distributing his opponent's card, he would have been out right there. And that's just kind of the way the deck is. The tokens is dirty too, though. Like, it's such an extra free advantage, but I almost feel like it's a win harder mechanic. I mean, yeah, there's sometimes where if you didn't have it, you would have lost. But the thing is that this card, it used to be like, oh, hold on, I want to go defensive. Oh, don't worry about it, bro. Even though my effects is negated, it's a cost tribute. Like, that's the problem with, like, this deck. Like, you can't respond to it. Like, you can't, like, chain your monster's effect because it's tributing it as a cost. And, like, well, even if effect negated, that's where, again, the deck is so dang strong. Did we watch the ABC one? Shoot, I don't remember if we clicked on the ABC one. We're watching the ABC duel. I don't think we watched this one. Let me swap it around over here. But, anyways, the deck's problem is basically if it loses the field spell, but it's so consistent at doing it. That's where a lot of people find the deck to be broken. I feel like this deck is definitely gonna be meta. Not only is it's pretty decent. I mean, I don't think anyone will argue that the deck is actually trash. But as far as it being like a tier 0 spot, I don't know if I feel like it is a tier 0 spot. But the thing is that it's a very easy deck to counter. Scrap Iron Scarecrow, because this has to proc at the end phase anyways, but like getting rid of this is just so good, so good. The deck does not have very much destruction as far as like back row goes, so that could be one way to kind of counter the deck as well, because a lot of the decks, especially the ones that I've seen, are just trying to get that consistency to get Lair of Darkness, because again, if they don't have that deck, they pretty much lose. One thing I wanted to showcase off was the mirror match. The mirror match is one of the most annoying things. Also, I wanted to show this one because of Dark Light, which is a card that is going up in price. So Dark Light is tribute one dark monster with 1500 or more attack, destroy all monsters that were special summoned this turn. So basically, the idea of this is to tribute one of your opponent's monsters, and then you Raigeki their entire board. Not a bad idea. Sounds pretty self-explanatory, but again, everything relies off of this card. If you don't have this card, well, Dark Light, it's not the best card, because obviously, well, you're going to be tributing your own thing, and probably your opponent didn't special summon on your turn. Some decks do, but for the most part, I mean, Altergeist, but like, I don't know how good that would be against Altergeist, because that deck is heavily reliant on traps anyways. But, anyways, again, they're very susceptible to back row, but the thing that is really good against this deck, again, is literally just MST. Like, I'm not even kidding. MST, well, I guess technically Twin Twisters works, and that's more of a viable card. Galaxy Cyclone. There's no, like, effect this card gets when it's destroyed, though, and I'm so glad this is not, like, when this card is destroyed, it's search whatever, because you guys know, like, almost every field spell in this day and age, like, if it's destroyed, you get to add one thing, and you can't add one thing with it. So that is pretty, like, balanced, well, still, like, OP to tribute your opponent's stuff. Regardless of what it is, because again, this is not only used for this deck, which is something I wanted to talk about, because I haven't seen a deck that just uses it. There was a Monarch player that we did see, but Mystic Walk is actually an interesting card as well. Being able to just tribute your own card, gain like 3,000 life points. I don't know how viable it is. Again, I just wanted to showcase off more interesting cards in the game, but you guys are going to see Link Summon. We're going for them. And that's another thing that I think is kind of cool with the deck. Like, it definitely has options for it. Then we're seeing the deck devastation virus. So rip all those tokens. Sorry, man, you're not going to be able to link summon. Oh, wait, things are attributed. Let me spam my bowl with like 5 monsters. Like, this just seems so broken, doesn't it? Like, it's just so unfair. Like, I know this other guy's playing the same deck, so, like, in this case, he's tributing his opponent's card, so he will not be getting the effect of this, and he's just like, dude, that. Again, the deck is actually susceptible to back row quite easily, because they have no way of actually dealing with it. But you're going to have no monsters sometimes, and that's kind of the problem. The main thing that you need to do, guys, against this deck is just deal with Lair of Darkness. So, again, going back to the video topic, how broken is it? On a scale of what, 1 to 10, I feel like the card itself is definitely on like an 8. That's you guys can comment down below how broken you guys feel like this card is. I don't think anyone's gonna argue this card is not broken, because again, it's so dang difficult to get rid of like the effect of I'm tributing your card, can you stop it? But to get rid of like Lair of Darkness itself, it's just simple. But no one's playing things, because if you play, I don't know, triple MST, triple Cosmic Galaxy Cycle, whatever, it's just a little bit difficult to deal with this card on your turn. I honestly think MST and Twin Twisters isn't bad, but there's a lot of people that aren't playing it. And if you go Twin Twisters, you're maybe going to go -1, depending on what deck you're playing. But in this deck, I've noticed a lot of people don't have back row destruction as well. Again, they're hurting for consistency in their decks. But pretty cool. Shouts again to all you guys. Magus Lucius, Turkey Fish. Oh, wait, hold on. This one I wanted to showcase off. Hold on. This one we got the bonus, guys, bonus. This Blue Eyes player actually makes oh, and shout out to you, Fear. Anyways, the Blue Eyes player actually goes for something that I thought was pretty interesting in this duel. So he makes a number 95, pretty good card indeed. He's like, I'll just get rid of my Ash Blossoms. Don't even need them. Don't want to draw into cards where I'm going to try to negate your play. He's actually got an Amorphage Goliath, which actually stops everything from the extra deck. Neither player can special summon monsters from that, except for Amorphages, but well, he's not going to be playing those. Surprise. But then he's also got a number 95. He's got a pretty decent little board over here, but the Darkest Diablos is going to go ahead and be out there. He's going to go ahead and place it on the bottom of the deck. But he already got rid of his opponent's like card, and he's like, yo, I'm going to go for extra deck cards now. We're going in, and yo, I'm going to go ahead and make Scoldy because this card's amazing. Or Sari Yuja. But I mean, just look at the advantage he just got. Like, that guy made a pretty decent board. He had a bunch of monsters with a bunch of attack. Doesn't matter. And he had a bunch of monsters with a lot of attack. And then on top of that, he had you can't get out anything from extra deck. But the deck just didn't care. And I feel like this deck is going to be super good against things that go for like, oh, this is my board, break my board. Because it's so difficult to beat this specific card. So, I don't know, like I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like 6 cents, well, 6 cents is kind of right. 6 cents if you roll a good roll good on the dice. I feel like it's like an 8, simply because it's so easy to not either. Well, the activation requirements are like nothing. You just activate it, right? And on top of that, it ruins things that require certain elements. I know it's kind of a minor thing, but you'd be surprised how many decks you run into that require like, oh, you need Earths to make this card. They're just like, I can't make this card. What the heck? They're all dark. And then on top of that, the tribute is like just like obviously the best, and then on top of that you have the whole everything you get tokens. Then you get to decide where you place the tokens, and then on top of that, the tokens, well, it's like you can use them for links, and they actually have like decent stats, and they're dark. So obviously, well, it's gonna turn everything to dark anyways because it's the field spell. It should have said Fiend Unknown. Like, well, actually, I don't know. Could we have Unknown coming out soon? Anyways, ranted long enough. But you guys let me know how broken you guys think this card is. I think, like I said, it's an 8. If we're talking 10 being the most broken, 1 being like, you know, ice barriers, like as in not good. I think the card is good, but I think that like you can deal with it. It's just a really, really strong card, but definitely broken in my books. But you guys can let me know your thoughts down below on how broken the card is. Like you said, I think people just need to side deck a little bit better, but just take that game 1 L, or you can mind deck all of those MSCs, because I honestly feel like that's the best card, because Twin Twisters, they're not gonna have other back row. That's the thing. You're just gonna go -1, which is better than losing your monster, and then also them getting some bonus effect because they tributed a monster. I don't know. The deck is like pretty insane, but it does have consistency issues. But that's part of the deck. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button to see more Yu-Gi-Oh videos.